Is democracy being manipulated right in front of us? I'm Chris. This is Old Geezer's Opinions. I don't promise to be nice. I don't promise to be kind. But I do promise to be honest. And honestly, what's happening in Makerfield right now is one of the most brazen pieces of political engineering I've seen in 60 years of watching British politics. I'm not a politician. I'm not a political scientist, and I'm certainly not a journalist, but what I am is someone who grew up in post-war Britain, who has watched this country change for the better and worse over a very long time. So let me lay out the facts as they stand. Josh Simmons, the Labour MP for Makerfield, a safe Labour seat since 1983, has announced that he's standing down. Why? Well, you'd have to ask him. But within days of his resignation, Labour's National Executive Committee, the NEC, voted by a majority of its officers to allow Andy Burnham to enter the candidate selection process for the by-election. Now, on the surface, that sounds reasonable enough. A man wants to stand. The party says yes. What's the problem? The problem is context. Simmons didn't just resign for personal reasons. He resigned to make way. The seat was cleared and the NEC didn't hold a genuinely open selection. They voted to let one specific person through the door. That's not democracy choosing a candidate. That's a party choosing the voters' options for them. I've watched by-elections since the 60s. They used to mean something. The voters in that constituency chose who would represent them. Sometimes it was the expected candidate. Sometimes it wasn't. But the process was honest. What's happening here doesn't look honest to me. It looks prearranged. But let me stop there, because I promise you I'd be honest, and honest means I can't just give you a list of grievances. Andy Burnham is not without merit. He's been the Mayor of Greater Manchester since 2017. Before that, he was elected 4 times as the MP for Lee. He's got name recognition, experience, and let's be fair, a genuine following, particularly in the Northwest. They don't call him the King of the North for nothing. He's also been vocal about things that matter to ordinary people. The Hillsborough campaign, the Manchester Arena attack, the state of the NHS, something I know a thing or two about personally. He's not some empty suit parachuted in from nowhere. And there's an argument, a real one, that in the middle of a Labour leadership crisis, the party needs someone with his profile, someone who can actually challenge Starmer. You could say this is just how politics works. You need an MP to challenge for the leadership, so you find a seat. It happens all the time. I hear that argument, I understand it, but I don't accept it. Because the first problem is this: an MP doesn't just resign for no reason. When Josh Simmons stepped down, everyone in Westminster knew why. The seat was being cleared. Now you can dress that up however you like. You can call it convenient, you can call it coincidental. But I've been around long enough to know a deal being made when I see one. The second problem, the NEC vote itself. The NEC's officers, not the full committee mind, voted by a majority to let Burnham stand. That's not an open selection, that's a committee deciding who the voters get to choose from. I believe the technical term is parachuting in. Round here, we call it something less polite. And the third problem, and this is the one that really ought to keep people up at night, is the precedent. If Labour can do this, every party can do this. And before long, by-elections stop being democratic contests and start being party management exercises. The voters become extras in someone else's career move. What's the point of a by-election if the outcome is pre-arranged? I'll tell you what I think the point is from the party's perspective. It's to get their man through the door with the minimum of fuss and the maximum of control. The voters of Makerfield? Well, they're expected to play their part and vote accordingly. One voter in Makerfield, a man called Stan, retired, voted Labour for 45 years, told the BBC he thought Burnham was standing to feather his own cap. Another said she was a fan, but admitted he'll have a fight on his hands. These aren't political obsessives. These are ordinary people who can smell something off. If you'd like to hear more from me, all you have to do is click the subscribe button. Now, back to the mess. Because this isn't just about Burnham, and it isn't just about Labour. The Conservatives have done the same thing over the years. We all remember the A-list candidates and the centralised shortlists. Every party, when it gets a chance, tries to control the process. That's what parties do. That's why the process has to be stronger than the party. And right now, in Makerfield, it isn't. Nigel Farage has promised Reform UK will throw everything at this by-election. And the Greens are campaigning too. And you know what? Good. Because a contested by-election, a genuinely contested by-election, is the only way the voters of Makerfield get any real say at all. I've been around long enough to know if you let the powerful pick their own seats, they'll never give that power back. Not willingly and not ever. That, to my mind, is broken. Not Britain, not yet, but the process, the system, the quiet assumption that voters will simply go along with whatever the party machine arranges for them. I hope Andy Burnham loses this by-election, not because I dislike the man, I don't know him, but because the process deserves to lose. And sometimes the only way to protect the system is to reject the shortcut. That's my honest answer, and I promised you honest. Tell me what you think in the comments. Am I wrong? Is this just how politics works now? Or am I being naive? Or does this bother you too? I'm genuinely curious.